Hello, and welcome to the Quantum Human Revelations. So I'm just going to make sure everything's working and that I can actually see people on YouTube this time. I didn't see any of the chats on the last few times, so yeah, that's all come up great. I think what happens is when they upgrade their privacy policy about who can see what on the comments, then I have to press an extra button that I don't see when I go live. So welcome, welcome. It's March. I can't believe how quickly we've got to March. And I'm hoping you've all had a restful time connected to nature, if possible. So let me know if you've been doing any work with nature over the last month, which was what we were talking about in February. So I've got some people on with Zoom and I've got people on YouTube. So just put a comment in and let me know how you were doing with the connecting with the earth energies that we spoke about in February. So Jenny says she's been working with the shells. Excellent. Oh, everybody else is a bit quiet tonight. Okay, let me just see. So if there's anybody seeing me now on YouTube, then just give me a comment so I can see if I can actually see your chats. As I say, it's been being a little bit difficult last week. I'm just going to try that button to see if that one helps. Yes, I've got a message. Excellent. Thank you. That's Charles. February was very spring-like. It's been very wet here, but I guess that could be spring. But yeah, in the UK, it's been extremely wet. Okay, cool. So we've got a few people now on YouTube, so we can get started. So I just wanted to do a quick recap on what we were doing in February, because it kind of carries on a bit into this month. So hello to everyone that's joining me on YouTube and on Zoom. We have an extra bit after the live where we chat on Zoom to go a bit deeper into things. But today, I wanted us to talk about the heart transmissions that have been coming through off the back of the solarized spark energy that came in during February. So, as you know, we've been bombarded with a lot of new cosmic energies over the last few months. The solar flares, the Schumann resonance has been going crazy. And all of this is to facilitate a shift, for us to shift into a new physical version of ourselves. And because of the Virgo full moon, that physical version of ourselves is the divine self. So think of this as everything that's been going on since before Christmas has been a kind of preparation to help you get aligned physically, just like a mother would when she's pregnant and having a child. You know, she'd purify and check her food and check her health. Think of that's the phase we've been through. And now we're moving into the phase of giving birth, which is giving birth to our Christ consciousness child. Now, I've been using the word Christ consciousness, but if you followed me last month, you'd see that we were talking about the Galactic Federation of Light Consciousness, which I think is a slightly more expansive I am presence than the Christ consciousness because it includes time and space. So because of that, I think I didn't want to call it the galactic child because that gets us into starseed territory, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a consciousness that allows us to understand ourselves not only as the divine, but of this peacemaker of the galaxy, which is that bigger time and space kind of concept, not just that on Earth. So last month we had that intense breakdown so that we could purify and remove anything out of the body that was going to prevent this Christ consciousness birth that was coming forward. And it's quite a shake-up, so it's been quite bumpy and it might not even be finished yet. It's hard to say with the readings and things that I'm taking at the moment, whether it's just this month, if it's going to come back again in a couple of weeks' time when it kind of does its second iteration. So all we can do is take each of the lessons I speak about and see them as doorways. So, you know, the idea of these quantum human revelation sessions are that you can come and sit down with me, grab a cup of tea, and allow some of the things I talk about to open up doorways into your consciousness, into your memories, into understanding yourself and what you're capable of. But at the end of the day, I can only show you the door. You have to unlock the door and walk through it. And it's the same when I'm doing my planetary grid upgrades and preparing the earth energies for new energies that are coming in. If I'm doing that, I can't force it on everybody because of free will. I can only tell you there's a new doorway, a new pathway, a new adventure for you to go on, and then point you in the direction of it. And then you have to choose to walk it. And we all know that whenever we take a self-healing journey of exploration of our inner self, of our inner landscape, it's going to cause change. And if you're resistant to change, then you're going to find it's a bumpy, hard, clinging kind of journey, which is what March is starting to talk about. So how do you all approach your self-healing? Do you find it easy to let go? Do you find it easy in these death stages to sit with the darkness that comes as we end one phase and move into another? Let me know in the comments how you deal with this, because this is going to be the thing we're going to have to learn for March. So yeah, Jenny's saying depends on Zoom. Got nothing coming up yet on YouTube, but I know you guys are a bit behind when I speak. So if ever you say something at the end of a session and I don't answer, it's because I've probably already finished by the time the comment comes up. Charles is saying no. So I think in February, I mentioned that we were going to go through these kind of death rebirth cycles much quicker than we ever have before. And we have to get really good now at not getting stuck in the void, not getting stuck in the darkness, and seeing it as a phase, like making it normal and talking about it and sharing it and just accepting that it's a necessary phase to pass through to come out the other side. So after the shakedowns that we've been having last month, then obviously you can see how we're leading us into the more we remove from ourselves, the more as humans we feel like, especially if we're attached to the things around us, that they give us identity, or the things around us helps us feel safe and stable. Whatever the reason, those things that we hold on to, when we're asked to let that go, it can feel quite traumatic, whether that be people, situations, objects, loved ones. You know, it doesn't really matter what. It just can feel really traumatizing. So on Zoom, I've had lots of bumpy things, but have been moving quickly like clouds. Yeah, and that's what we're going to try and do, is like notice them, accept them, and then let them pass on through. So I also mentioned last month about the Solarized spark, which was this new frequency that was igniting as part of the solar flares. And this seemed to be like fuel for our creativity. And the whole point was that if you weren't careful, if you didn't have pure thought, pure intention in terms of focused, not just pure as in good, but focused, you could end up using this new manifestation, Solarized spark, to manifest your self-sabotaging abilities. And I spoke about, it was a bit like putting rocket fuel on a bicycle. It was just going to shoot you off in the wrong direction if you weren't careful. So it was going to take a lot of self-mastery now to really start controlling those thoughts, that inner critic, the gremlins that come up when we start thinking things about ourselves. And I joked because I did something, I can't remember what I did now, but something went wrong. And I started kind of berating myself for not having held up all the plates at the same time. And within 2 minutes, I bumped my head and hit my finger, I think, which is quite rare for me to be that clumsy. And I thought, yeah, okay, I better stop beating myself up because it's manifesting that quick. So that's an example of, you know, how quick the manifestations can be now, just based off your thought. You know, we're not talking about sitting down and going through a manifestation process. This is just the think it comes kind of process is speeding up and becoming more instinctual. So the self-mastery is what we need to focus on. And there's going to be, I'm sure, many bumpy, bad examples of your manifestation abilities before you get it right. But do keep persevering. Start with something small to give you a chance to kind of like see if it's working right. Or if, you know, sometimes I think the question last month we said, am I the version of myself that I need to be for this year? You know, and you can't see what you can't see. So the only time we notice there's something wrong with our energy, our thoughts, our belief system is when we look at our external world and see what's going on and reflecting back at us. And this manifestation process is going to speed that up a little bit. So if things seem to have got a bit rougher or a bit bumpier than usual, then just notice it as being a clues for what we might need to clear out or change the way we think about things. So has anybody noticed this as well? Has anybody else noticed the speed of which manifestation's happening of just small things? So Charles is saying he's been feeling very traumatic. And I don't know if I say NFA T Roberts. Hello, nice to see you here. I don't notice. So have you guys noticed anything in particular that you've seen kind of starting to really emphasize what I'm talking about? Yeah, so on Zoom, Marta's saying yes. And obviously, we're working in a group in my membership. I don't like calling it a membership, but there's a group of us that work actively on these. We see the opportunities for self-healing. We meditate on them, we contemplate them, we integrate them, we embody them. So we're always trying to keep ahead of the game a little bit to keep that moving forward. And that way, it's kind of like, you've got a choice. You can either proactively approach your life, or you can just sit there and wait for the spanners to be thrown at you, and then you have to be reactive. And we're trying to get more proactive now as this cycle of manifesting is speeding up. So think of these all as new pathways to explore now, and I'm going to give you a few for March. The main theme for March is about embracing the power of the heart, the void, and birthing this Christ consciousness. So I'm going to be asking you, what is Christ consciousness? I keep asking people this because by asking the question, you have to think about it. When you think about it, you start embodying it and you start becoming aware of it. And we all know in quantum physics that once you become aware of something and you observe it, it changes in its nature, but also you as the observer change by seeing it. So you might not have the answer to this, and that's perfectly okay. But just simply by you contemplating it or trying to answer it, whether right or wrongly, doesn't matter, you're already starting to shift your energy and your vibration. Again, this really fast manifestation abilities. So let me see, on Zoom, we've got, yeah, so people are saying that he had something come up on the weekend, had a debate with the higher self, and it was a lot of fun. And Jenny says, I keep explaining it to you, but still don't fully understand. You'll have to give me a clue as to what you mean with that. Is that to do with the manifesting, or I'll wait for you to answer that. So how are we doing on? Yeah, so Charles is also saying immediate manifesting is what I've noticed. So the thing is, when this happens, you can start thinking that things are going bad in your life, that things are going wrong, but it's not. We spoke about this last month, that things will speed up. You might feel a bit disappointed or depressed, all this kind of stuff. Okay, yeah, Jenny's talking about Christ consciousness. Cool. Okay, yeah, we'll go into that now. So, things might look like things are getting bad at first, but it's not. It's just things are just manifesting quicker in your life, so you can see it and fix it. Yeah, okay, cool. So when we come to March, the energy we're working with is heart again. This heart transmission is getting really important now. It's almost like the solarized spark has come in, it's upgraded our heart. What we've been doing with the Virgo full moon is we've been looking at the crystalline column of light to upgrade the body to hold more of our divinity. And to hold more of the divinity, the body needs to be purer, it needs to be empty of these kind of self-critical thoughts and beliefs and behaviors and self-sabotaging. Keeping us feeling small is a sabotage. It doesn't have to be that we're physically beating ourselves up. Sometimes we're just holding ourselves back or keeping ourselves stuck. Those are all self-sabotaging behaviors. And the truth is now we haven't got the ability to stay stuck anymore. It's getting more painful to stay stuck than it is to move forward. And that's often the case. Many of us want to embrace change or won't step into the void until the pain of the moment that we're in is worse than the pain we perceive of the change that's coming for us. So this heart transmissions is basically saying that when the solarized spark came into the heart, we've been getting constant heart upgrades. It was kind of like being upgraded as a computer. While this was upgrading, we might have felt a bit off. We might have noticed that our manifesting or the things that we want to manifest might have changed, because as we were changing our vibration of love, the things that we thought we wanted were no longer in alignment because they weren't high enough for us, they weren't big enough for us. And we were finding that people that might have been in our lives for a while were dropping away. Situations that we wanted, suddenly we're not interested in. So you might have noticed this kind of what you might feel like a switching of your opinions and feelings on things, or even just a less tolerance to things that you didn't mind being in your circle of energy because you thought it's not that bad, so I won't worry about it too much. And now you're noticing that any energy that is not purely aligned with your cosmic future of what you want, that higher divine self, is actually dimming your light. So this heart transmission is the start of what we need to learn to be able to embrace unity consciousness. Because if we don't like ourselves, if we can't be loving to ourselves, which often we can't, we're more loving to everybody else than ourselves sometimes, then we can never expect to be the leaders of unity consciousness. Everything starts within. So we know that the heart is part of how we receive and give love and romantic love, but it is just connected to the whole of humanity. And this is why when somebody betrays us or abandons us or hurts us, it hurts so much. It's the heart that hurts. And then what we do as empaths is we close down the heart. And as soon as we do that, we're already starting to move into a self-sabotaging behavior because we've cut ourselves off from our higher consciousness and the divine. So we close down our heart because of human pain. And then we're trying to balance back up to connect to the divine. And this is the kind of human experience, isn't it? How do we keep open to the heart, open to love, and live in a world that can be quite painful at the same time and difficult? Now, the trick is going to be to start seeing the heart as a technology and noticing the power of the heart. This is new territory. I don't know how the heart's being upgraded and what it's going to allow us to do. I'm hoping it's going to give us more compassion. It's going to give us more love of ourselves. Maybe it's going to help us even release things that have hurt us more easily. But it will illuminate the things in the past that would have hurt us. So imagine the solarized spark in your heart. You can put your hands on your heart if you wish and just tune into the heart. Imagine a spark from the sun has now gone into your heart. It's brighter and lighter than perhaps you normally experience. And just trust that it knows what frequency you should be at and how to notice which other things are in alignment with that. And all the mistakes that you've made before was simply because you were settling for less. You were going for the small option. You thought you were keeping yourself safe when really you were just trying, your whole life was about being safe instead of living. So when you tune into the heart, you might start noticing that it's there, that all these changes you're noticing, all the self-awareness that's coming up, that it's all coming out of the heart space. So Marta's saying, yes, she's noticing that's happening now. And Charles is saying, observing self has taken on a new meaning. So now we want to sort of move out of the mind into the heart, because the mind can be seduced. Have you ever had that feeling where you really kind of feel in your heart, and as kids, this happens all the time, you feel in your heart, this is something you really want to do. Then an adult tells you it's not possible, or you shouldn't do this, or it's not right, because, you shouldn't dream so big. That's an example where we've disobeyed our heart calling and we've allowed our minds to be seduced into a different way of thinking. So often when we make decisions, we're really using the logical mind. And the heart is being upgraded so that we can become more heart-led and easily spot and discern what is the right things for us. Because when that happens, then we'll have less things to regret. And even if we do something and it doesn't work out quite like we expect, we know that there was a lesson in there, and our heart will allow us to experience that with compassion for ourselves and whatever else went on in that situation. And then that whole journey becomes a much more fluid, smoother, comfortable journey. We're here to be disruptors. It doesn't mean the journey is going to be an easy, smooth journey, but we can learn to navigate it with more skill. So now it's about, as empaths and sensitives, pushing past, like no more closing down, but now actually pushing past and expanding through the pain so that we can feel the whole pain of humanity, but not letting it impact us. And that's the heart technology we want to develop. That's the heart practices that we want to develop. Because once we start then raising our heart and sitting, find something that lights you up every day, and then sit and feel what that feels like in your heart until it's like memorizing a new signature. And then once you've memorized that signature, everything else then, notice throughout your day, does this align with that signature that I'm working with? So you're kind of like relearning how to spot the things that light you up versus the things you were told should light you up, the things that humans are told to chase after, the things that you were told were too big for you because you were not intelligent enough, or you weren't smart enough, or pretty enough, or big enough, whatever reasons we've been told these things to hold us back. And we're starting to push through this now so we can step through the other side and actually see that we are all the things. We are big enough, pretty enough, intelligent enough, exactly as we are, and that we are this Christ consciousness, divine kind of this child growing within us is the Christ consciousness, awakening to walk on this planet. So as you raise this standard of your heart, then it's much easier to make decisions. Everything becomes much clearer. You start noticing the red flags and making the right decisions. So we've also got the ability to dissolve karma, because when there's love, then it's hard for karma to be attracted to that. It doesn't mean the old karma is going to just all instantly go away. We sometimes have to clear that up and still tidy up the past, but at least it will prevent new karma coming through, because when we're operating from love and compassion, we're not collecting karma anymore. So that's kind of some of the things of the heart that are coming online. So just starting to recognize it. We use body testing to help us decide what to do when the brain gets confused and gets over analysis and gets stuck in trying to work out the pros and cons. The heart usually will give you a different answer. And I'm thinking to do a workshop on this to try and help people learn how to use this heart intelligence more wisely in making decisions. So if you're interested in that, put a comment in and I'll I'll hopefully get in touch with you through the comments. But if you can email me, that would be even better. So the goal in March is unconditional acceptance. That really is now stepping into accepting ourselves, accepting there will be light, there will be dark, because we've really got to now move away from fearing the dark. And we have to be able to accept that the past is what the past is and the future is to come, that our shadows are just as useful as our skills, that our body isn't some weak aspect of our spirituality. It's as important and has many abilities to help with our spiritual higher self. And to really now step into what Virgo was bringing through was our expression of our soul. Now, our soul is like that innocent child, kind of just talking and sharing and laughing and singing without worrying about what the world's going to say. But imagine this is a multi-dimensional child who wants to talk about their experience as animals and stardust and aliens. You know, it's that kind of like just allowing it all to come through, understanding it's all part of who they are and part of their story, and enjoying the exploration of all of these parts. And the more you can express yourself as a soul, then the more authentic you will start feeling. So Virgo represents the virgin birth. And that's why I was asking you about Christ consciousness and what you think that is. So did you guys have any answers to Christ consciousness? So Charles is saying, can you bring the soul into this? Yeah, I'm actually talking to your souls more than I'm talking to you guys. Half the stuff I say, I think is the words kind of get given to me in a certain order that doesn't really make sense to the logical mind. And I assume when that happens, it's because that's a message for your soul, not for your brain. And NFA T. Roberts is saying a bit more forgiving. I let go of being told something not very nice about me that I would have put right before. Yeah. And I knew I'd never see that person again. Didn't I waste my breath? Yeah, that's very much it. We're really pushing away things that are not in alignment with us. And it's not about hating on them, because unity consciousness is not about separation. It's about accepting that they're just at a different level on their journey, and then hanging out with people who are at the same level as we are at. And then by us strengthening our belief in ourselves, we create the energetic bubble on the planet that helps the others then raise up to see themselves in their true divinity. Is the world torturing itself so they can stay small? Many people are torturing themselves so they can stay small for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the tricks for, like, I think a lot of my work will be for people who have never done any spiritual practices, because I feel like they have memories of being ridiculed for it in the past, or something was put into their consciousness that is not good. And they're the people with some amazing skills to bring onto the planet right now. So Christ consciousness, any of these consciousnesses are just a group of beliefs. So Christ consciousness is the belief system around Christ and his journey and his life. And the Galactic Federation of Light Consciousness is a little less tangible because we don't have a person that we can look at and see, well, his life is what it means. We have Buddha consciousness, which obviously is based off of the meditation and Buddha's kind of lifestyle. So we can see these different consciousnesses are different thought patterns, basically, and beliefs. But we can pick and choose which ones we want to include in our consciousness. So we all have to find our own consciousness, basically. So with Virgo, what we're trying to remember basically is our divine self. Now, that means, that God made us in his own image, so therefore we are God. And when we step into thinking about Christ consciousness, just notice if you kind of think upwards. Like when you think of Christ consciousness, does your mind sort of search the heavens for what this means? Or does it search your heart? I'll just give you a minute to think about that. Because this will tell you whether you believe that you have the ability to be that pure soul walking this planet as the divine self, the authentic self. Because we're getting to a point now where you're not all with everything, you are everything. Because being all with something implies there's two things coming together. But we want to now get to the whole point of Virgo is this synthesis of heaven on earth, where the soul is now embodied in the human form, that they become one thing. And synthesis, if you were making the color purple and you had red and blue, you have the red, the blue coming together, and then purple is a complete new color that comes out of it and becomes its own thing. So we've got the soul, we've got the body, we've got the divinity, divine soul coming in, the body, coming out as this divine Christ conscious being walking the planet. And Virgo wants us to know, how are you going to show up as your Christ conscious self? Or if you're ready to explore the Galactic Federation of Light Consciousness, how can you every day show up as that? What decisions would you make? How would you walk? How would you talk? What projects would you do? How would you help people? And that's the belief system that we're talking about. Hey, another Trudy. Hello. One Trudy to the other. So I never thought about it, yeah. But this is the thing, isn't it? We hear these things and we don't think about them. But now you've thought about it, just that simple thinking about it, it cannot be the same. It'll start changing. You cannot be the same for observing it. So just allow that to just seep in today. If that's the only thing you think about today, then allow that, because that's what we need. So understanding this Christ consciousness is a huge topic. I'm not going to have time to go over today. I just wanted you to at least start thinking about inside you is the divine. And the one thing I want to leave you with that is that your body has instincts. If you, if somebody jumped out and went boo, you jump, yeah? Or you put up your hands and you defend yourself. That's an instinct. If you are Christ consciousness embodied, or the Galactic Federation of Light embodied, then what is your God instinct? And your God instinct is that you can manifest, that you can weave energy, that you can create and co-create, that you are a creator, a cosmic creator if you go as far as the Galactic Federation of Light, or even a human creator on the physical realm. And you can then start thinking about healing. God made man. He knew how to put all the pieces together to make it happen. That was an instinct. So what can you do to awaken that instinct within you, as I said, to think about how you're going to walk on the planet? So a couple of other bits just to give you the rest of the reading. Hopefully that's given you a lot to think about already, but do let me know what that's bringing up for you as you think about it. So Trudy says she looks at life like a river. Charles is asking who is ready for this. Everybody is. That's the whole point of our existence, is to come down and learn that we are not a separate human, that we are the divine walking on the planet, and to remember our heart-led soul wisdom, and to integrate it and embody it in our everyday. I do wonder if everyone will master it, but that's a different type of question. But at the end of the day, at least we're all thinking about bringing it in and starting to think differently, that, if we are divine, what would we do? How would we behave? And then that will start opening doors so you can start seeing things differently. And that then has a ripple effect, So if our goal for the end of this month is this acceptance, yeah, of ourselves, of our soul, of our divinity, of our past, of our future, if we know that the heart transmissions are coming in, so we're being upgraded to see things and recognize things differently, that are in more alignment, then the challenge for this month is that we have to get through the void bit first. We have to embrace working with the void. We have to find the magic in it. There is dark magic. There are, like, not the dark magic, like the really bad stuff, but there is magic like Kali and other goddesses who are experts in working with dark energy. And it's the shadow self. So it's not a bad energy. Darkness isn't always a bad energy. There is a way that we can work with it and integrate it and use it to fuel our lives too. And we're starting to be asked that as this heart transmission comes in, we'll feel stronger and more able to face the shadows and the darkness and then learn what's been hidden in there all along. So if you have got a particular dark void experience right now, which you could call a dark night of the soul, surround yourself with others who have been through it so that you can learn how to navigate it a little easier. Find people who are good at learning how to cultivate hope when there is none, because that's a skill set. And even though it feels like it's always darkness, it's the ending. It's also the beginning, because any ending is also a beginning. It is nothingness, but it's also potential. So sometimes it's like, we have blinkers on, we see the darkness, we focus on the darkness and only the darkness, that we miss all the fertile, rich opportunities hidden in it. And that's what we need to start learning, is how we can now start working in the dark in a different way, rather than thinking, oh, it's a phase I've got to go through, I have to wait, I have to cry, I have to let it go. It's really about learning, what can you do that will help you pass through the void in a much easier way. We're all one and to love everyone, is what Trudy's saying. And Charles has said, how do you know that you, Trudy, are ready to meet Christ in me? I probably already know, because as a soul guide, the one thing I see is the true potential of people. So I don't see this world. Sometimes I see what people can become. That's how I do my work. I can see what people need to learn, what they need to let go of, what they can be. And it's almost like I'm the light that shines that for them to see so that they can become it. So based on me having that psychic ability, then yeah, I think there's a Christ in all of us waiting to wake up. Just some of us are not willing and in more resistance than usual. So, and this is kind of going to be interesting, because that's the question for the end of today, is that resistance. Wow, where's time gone today? I was a bit late starting. So yeah, so the challenge is going to be really reframing how we work with the void and seeing the benefit of it. And knowing that sometimes just sitting in the dark, waiting for the light, is a process that has a lot going on that you can't see. The strength that we have to work on is that you are stronger than you think, and that you're probably clinging on to old parts of yourself, and that's what makes the void so difficult. So if you can let go of the clinging, then you'll probably find moving through the void is easier. So I often refer to, like, you want to go out in the car for a ride. You're there trying to open the car door, but you can't quite reach it. And you look and the other hand's hanging onto a tree. So you're hanging onto the tree and trying to open the car door and wondering why you can't get there, well, you just have to let go of the tree. But for some reason, you're trying to take the tree with you, so you never get there, and you just create more tension and more resistance than you need. Because, if you want to think of a more positive image for the void, then it's the cosmic womb of the universe. It's like where stars get birthed out of. It's the cocoon of a caterpillar. So these are all showing you how the void can be used to generate life, basically. So the trick will be to surrender to the transformative energies that are trying to carry you, like the river that Trudy mentioned earlier, that are trying to carry you down the river rather than trying to swim back up the river. So the advice for this month is that there are a lot of cosmic energies coming in. If you're new to all of this, like last month, I told you all to go out and connect to Earth and find new Earth magic and start sensing energies and just seeing what you can notice. This time it's about the cosmic energies. And particularly because we were with Virgo this month, there's a constellation, a super cluster next to Virgo called Laniakea. And that energy seems quite potent at the moment. So you can look it up. It was identified in 2013, and it's a Hawaiian name, Laniakea, Laniakea. And it's a beautiful supercluster of constellations. And there's some really interesting energy coming in from there right now that you can tune into. And then the next steps is all about you starting to look. I split life into 8 areas just to be more specific. The more specific you can be with testing and body testing with your heart, the better the answers. The constructing the questions is more of the challenge than learning the body testing. And that's just allowing your heart to express itself. But right now, what we're being asked is to look at all the different areas of your life and find out, where are you ready to go forward and where are you still clinging and resisting? So where are you holding onto that tree and where are you ready to get in the car and go and explore? And that testing that now is going to help give you clues over where you have to carry on with more purification, because we have to purify all areas of our lives. The thing with the soul is you, it's your essence. You can't just fix work or fix relationships. Often the issues that I see with people that they say are work issues, I will find them in their relationships too. The issues tend to spread across all of our lives. And because of that, then we have to see that the fix is us, the soul. And once we understand our soul and our essence and who we are and our authenticity, we make better decisions. When we raise that vibration of the heart, our frequency raises. So again, we make better decisions. And then all those areas of our lives start falling into place, because they're kind of like, I like to think of it as the playpen of the soul, relationships, work, where you live, the town, the community you live in, your hobbies, how you are with money. These are all kind of ways for the soul, like games the soul can play with to learn about itself. So that's the reading. So in summary, it's going to be focusing on the heart, really tuning into your heart and learning what lights you up and noticing what around you is not in alignment with that. Starting to body test. And as I said, I'll do a workshop on that separately. So you can start to navigate life using your heart rather than your mind. Learning to tap into the wisdom of the heart, because the heart obviously is the speaker for the soul. So when we go through higher consciousness, when we're connected, it's through the heart that information comes in. And it's about recognizing that we have to keep clarifying our bodies and purifying our bodies so that we can become this pure vessel in order to birth the soul or the Christ child or the Galactic Federation of Light Consciousness. It's not comfortable in a body that's beating itself up. So the more pure we get, the easier it is for these things to show themselves. Because it's not like these things are not there. They're always there. It's just that we've put on so many layers of clothes on top of them that they can't be seen. And when we start taking off the clothes, then we just start revealing these things are already inside us, just waiting to be expressed. So remembering that when you become a butterfly, you don't want to hang out with caterpillars because you've got different kind of like abilities. So it's finding your tribe and learning how to move with that, turning that void into the cosmic womb, and just tuning into some of those galactic energies. There's pictures of the Laniakea all over the internet. You can look up and see what you can feel when you sense into those images. And like I said, noticing where in your life you've got the green light to go and where you might be still clinging and hanging on to stuff that's blocking you from changing and making the changes you need. So I ran over a bit there, sorry guys, but hopefully that's given you some things to think about. So tuning into your heart is got to be the new skill that we're all learning. And the sooner we can master that, the sooner we can start birthing unity consciousness onto the planet. So I hope you all find what lights you up this month and that you find this inner spark manifests into amazing things for you and that you learn how to navigate life with your heart because it is going to be an illuminating journey this month. So does anybody have any questions on anything in particular before I sign off? Because what I'll do now is I'll be signing off to go and talk to the people that have joined me on Zoom because we have a 30-minute deep dive into these topics a bit more. If anybody off of YouTube wishes to join me for that, then all you do is send me an email or DM me off of Facebook or Instagram. I'm on all of those. And then I'll send you the link so you can join after the live every month. So I was thinking to restart back doing these weekly, but there's just so many new frequencies coming in. I'm spending such a lot of time digging in and tuning in that I haven't got time to be here every Monday at the moment. But hopefully, well, I'll be back for the next monthly reading in April, which will be, I think it'll be like the first Monday in April, although I've got to check Easter. And you guys can join me again then. But always put any questions, like after this, if you watch the replay and you hear what I'm saying on a different level, then just put stuff in the comments and I can come back and answer you then when I see your questions, allowing for the fact that sometimes it takes 24 hours to show me the questions being placed. Yeah, yeah. Judy's saying heart navigating switch flipped on. Yes. Well, also, it's going to be hard to say. Also, flip on the God instinct as well, and try and look up that Laniakea constellation and see what you get from there. So for people who are a bit more advanced on their spiritual journey, then those will be some interesting things to play with, I think. And that's what I've been playing with. We've been doing in my group, trying to see what we can see, how it feels. And yeah, Leo was kind of like the finger of God, we called it, because it was the ability to focus intense energy in such precision for manifestation. And then the God instinct is more to do with the just that knowing, deep down knowing how to heal, how to fix your body, how to change things, how to create on this planet, the cosmic creator from the cosmic womb type energy. So there's lots of doorways there for you guys to explore. And whenever it's like a bit like Alice in Wonderland, when you jump down one of these halls, you go on a journey and you just don't come out the same. And that is self-healing to me. So thank you guys on YouTube and thank you for joining me. And I'll see you in April. And now I'm going to spend some time with those on Zoom. So I'll say bye.